Let me tell you a story about a girl named Jaime. Aim was 16, drop-dead gorgeous, and on top of the world. She had a great relationship with someone she really cared about, she had a great job helping with the community, and was on the honor roll at her high school. Jaime wasn't a shy girl by any means, very outspoken. Needless to say, she got along with anyone she ever met. Jaime grew up with a semi-religious family with specific views on certain subjects. Her parents taught her the difference between right and wrong, and how being a homosexual is wrong. Jaime understood and lived by those principles, rules, bullshit for nearly her entire life. Then she met a girl and fell in love. They were together for nearly 3 years before she came out to her loving parents. A divorce ensued 2 weeks later, and her father moved to another city nearly 200 miles away. Jaime was forced into moving with her father, leaving her girlfriend behind. About 6 months later, Jaime's father had to come back to town to go through the divorce court and sign all appropriate documents. Jaime came with him so that she could reconnect with her girlfriend. She calls her girlfriend up and tells her that she's in town. Meet her at the door because she's on her way over. Her girlfriend runs down the stairs, nearly tripping over each step on the way. She flings open the door, and there stood Jaime, or what was left of her. You see, along with this move to Shittown, USA, Jaime had picked up a new hobby: heroin. Her healthy glow was gone and replaced with a dark, hollow, fiendish sort of aura. She didn't have a bounce in her step or a smile on her face. She had lost at least 20 pounds from her once beautiful or ideal figure. Her hair was nappy and her clothes reeked. It was the beginning of summer, and yet Jaime stood there in a long-sleeved shirt and shorts. Her girlfriend, thinking something terrible had happened, grabbed her and pulled her inside to the couch. She sat her down and began what would be the hardest conversation either of them would ever have. Questions mostly answered with more questions about money and drugs. Jaime's faithful girlfriend was in tears as she dragged her frail body into the car. "We're going to rehab," she said, so off they drove. They got to the facility an hour later. It was a better facility there, where Jaime's girlfriend had taken a few people they knew from school. They went inside and started on the paperwork, tears dripping onto the pages and smearing the ink. Jaime's girlfriend handed the clipboard to the lost girl she used to love and pointed where to sign. "Just sign your name here," but Jaime refused, stating that she wouldn't do it, that she loved the way the drugs felt more than anything her girlfriend ever gave her. Her girlfriend left her there, in the faithful hands of professionals. She never looked back or gave it a second thought. She had lost everything 6 months ago, but had only just realized it that day. She felt like a failure, but she knew it was the right thing to do. I still don't know what happened to her, all because she had a fun night with heroin and got addicted. I loved that girl. I have all this money, but no one to leave it to. I have late-stage pancreatic cancer, and for the most part, I'm dead man walking. I've accepted it. I still have some time left that I can enjoy. I didn't know how hard it is to get your affairs in order. I've been working since I was 16 and saved. I wanted to retire at 50, but I'll be dead at 43. I reviewed everything from retirement, to cash, to life insurance, my house, etc., and have about 2.5 million net to my estate. I have no one to leave it to. I have no kids of my own, and I'm not on speaking terms with my siblings, although they all of a sudden want to reconcile and be my best friend. They didn't reach out until after I was told that it was terminal, which was months after I was diagnosed. Had one person reached out or even asked if I needed a ride to the hospital, then I'd leave everything to them. I have 6 nephews, but only met one when he was 7, and now he's 17. He's turning into a mess like his parents, so Tar would be a bad idea to leave him money. The family would hound him for some, and that's not fair to put a target on his back or give the means to do stupid shit. It disgusts me that people are more concerned about what I'm doing with my money and house than how I'm doing. I can't trust them to follow through on any final requests like spread at the beach. They'd probably throw away my ashes the minute the check clears. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I'm not leaving to any charity or strangers. Fuck off if you're going to ask me for money, so I'll leave my estate matters unresolved and let my family fight over it. I hope most ends up going to lawyer fees.
The 9th of February is my sister's birthday. Her name was Ariel. She would have been turning 32. We lost her on February 20th, 2015. She just turned 26. I was 19, on my first deployment. The night I found out I was in Hawaii on Liberty. We were emailing each other and she was planning to pick me up when the ship pulled back into the States. Ariel was an amazing person, although she had an unfair life. My dad didn't even know about her until she was 1.5. CPS showed up with Ariel to his door because she was taken away from her crackhead pa's mom. Her mom left her in a closet. Apparently her neighbor at the trailer park heard a baby crying all day long. She had constant health issues. Her mom did crack when she was pregnant with her. My dad was abusive towards her. It's complicated, but my entire family was shitty towards her. I was too. I was a total brat. I would get her trouble on purpose. I was the youngest of 7 and was still kind of a people pleaser. She moved out when she was 16 after fist fighting my dad. I couldn't wait to go on a road trip back to Sacramento with her. We were going to bond. I got a text message around 3 a.m. from one of her friends. She had been hit by a car. I remember thinking it wasn't a big deal. She would be all right. In hindsight, I was in shock. I ended up mouthing off to a higher-up the next day and getting sent to the chaplain. This guy was a total idiot, made me figure out how to send a Red Cross message on Google. Guy didn't even know how to do his own job. Anyways, I was put on emergency leave. I flew out that night to Sacramento. Although the turbulence was intense, I slept through the entire 8-hour flight. The week that followed was a blur. I remember sleeping a lot, and I remember seeing my sister in the hospital. Her head was swollen. It seemed like there was a million wires running through her. I asked for a private moment with her and tried to apologize through the weeping attacks. I guess that's how experiencing a seizure would feel like. I apologized for how shitty her life was, how horrible my family was to her, how horrible I was to her. I also told her that although it's selfish of me to want her here, it was okay if she had to go. She wouldn't be happy if she stayed. Her brain was permanently damaged. When the doctors said she would wake up, they meant wiggle her toe. She wouldn't be the same. She was pronounced brain dead at 6 the next morning. 200 people came to her celebration of life. She was a health coach and had touched so many people's lives for the better. She always tried to mother me, always tried to take care of me, and I was a brat to her. She even paid my phone bill in high school so I would have a cell phone. When rummaging through her stuff, I came across her diary. In it, she wrote something along the lines of, "I want to be successful. I wish I had the money to pay for my little sister's college instead of her going to the military to pay for it." She basically blamed herself when that thought never occurred to me. I turned 26 on March 2nd. I'm about to transfer to a 4-year college in the fall, and I know Ariel would be really proud of me. It's been 6 years since she has been gone. This time of year is never easy for me. And this year especially, since I'll be the same age that she was when she passed. But her energy shows up every year for her birthday, in some form, always through nature. One year, I drove out to a canyon and poured a little beer in her honor. The wind flew it back up, right into my face. One year I saw the green flash on her birthday. The green flash is a brief moment that occurs when you're out to sea. It has to be a day with zero pollution. A bright green flash appears right when the sun sets. It only lasts for 2 to 3 seconds. Some say that the green flash is the other side saying hello to the living. I'd like to think that. A cute trick dad taught his dog ended up killing it. When I was young 25 years ago, give or take, my dad finally got a dog. He had been without one for years, and when little Annie came along, the runt of a wire hair terrier, month later he fell in love. We lived in the country on a small acreage, and once she was big enough to go outside without supervision, he taught her a trick. The same trick he had taught his last dog years before I was born. He was a trucker and often gone for several days at a time, but when he came home he would slow the car down just before he got to the bottom of our long driveway and he would open his door. Little Annie would run and jump onto his lap. One day while Dad was working us kids and Mom went to town for groceries, and as we drove into the yard, Annie came running at top speed, right into the side of the driver's door. She died instantly. I'm not sure Mom has ever quite forgave herself. Dad never blamed her. He taught the dog the trick. It was one of the first pets I can remember dying.